Hey traders, Parker here with another sector outlook. I went with a different look for my labels. So hopefully this is easier on the eyes. So this is the weekly percent change. This is the monthly, and this is the quarterly. This what you're seeing in between is the seasonality for the December for the different sectors. So we look at it for the most part. Healthcare and financials are the only ones that were green, are supposed to be green for the seasonality over 5 years. But we look into the labels more so we can actually see where S&P 500 is usually down. 60% of the time the S&P 500 is usually down negative 0.17% over the past 5 years on average, but it's actually up 4.33%. NASDAQ the same thing. Usually over the five, if you compound of last 5 years worth of data, you look at it, Nasdaq is usually down negative 1.85%, but it's actually up 5%. Same with the Dow. So even though they're all orange or this red color, a lot of these are all up. So seasonality didn't work in our favor for the month of December. I don't think anything is actually down except for energy, and we can come over here and 40% of the time energy is up, but we can see and this one around is the average difference is negative 3 but the average difference for the last 5 years has been negative 3.73%, and it's actually down only 0.21% for the month of December. So, and we can look at materials. Its average difference for the last 5 years, seasonality anyway, it's negative 1.61. So healthcare and financials are both up. 60% of the time, healthcare is up. In the month of December, 0.2%, 0.02%. It's actually up 2.31%. And for financials, you can see where it's 60% of the time it's up. The average is 0.11%, but it's actually up 4.21%. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm going to go into the other labels, and I'm calling these my quarterly labels, but you can change the time frame however you see fit. And as I said earlier, this is the weekly outlook, this is the monthly, and this is the quarterly. So as you can see, energy it was up on this week, but it's down on the month, and it's down on its quarter as well. I also put in these scores, so you can see each one of these tens is means they're above their weekly close, their weekly high, weekly close, weekly previous week high, previous week close, and it's open, and it's previous week low. So that's why these are given 10. Anything with lower than 10 is probably below its weekly high, and possibly below its weekly close. So we can come over here and we can see everything except for commodities. No, communications, my bad. Is above 10, and energy is negative 5. So this is give you a key indication where to go look, especially when you're looking over the weekly, the monthly, and the quarterly. And our quarterly, the Dow is all the way up. The only one is late is the it's a Russell, but it's climbing as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these labels, and that'll be your sector outlook, at least from the point of view of the those labels. And for another visual aid, we can look at this my market sector comparison indicator, which I recently updated as well. So when we go into it, yeah, the labels are covering up right now. But we can see right now, for the last, I guess you could say, 63 days is a quarter. If you look at it over 3 months, because it's only 50 weeks, the whole breakdown comes down to 63 days. But if we want to look at it from a different perspective of this quarter, I would just shift it to fourth quarter and switch it to a higher time frame, and you will see the indicator actually switches. You can see this is the start of the quarter, and let me do one more thing and show all the months. Show all months. So this is our starting quarter for October, for the fourth quarter. So this would be October, this is November, this is December, this is the last month in this quarter. And we're now looking at this from the quarterly percent change, from this quarter's percent change from October. And we can see one thing that really, things that really surprised me was real estate. Real estate is up 17.41% for this quarter. Technology is up 16%. And you can see where real estate was really leading at the beginning of this quarter. They're all color coded. So real estate would be this purple one. Technology would be this light blue color right here. And this histogram is the actual S&P 500. And you can see how everything played out. And we can switch that also to the year. And we can see the S&P 500 over the year is up 22%, 22.72%. Technology still should be the leader for this year, and that's where you're seeing it right there. And materials, you can see it, so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. This is just a visual aid of seeing what's going on, and it goes back to zero every year. And one of the other key features for this indicator is switching on. So we'll say we're going to show only the majors. So the majors will be the four: the Russell, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the Dow, and the Nasdaq. And we can see the Nasdaq, this blue line right here, is leading for the year, or it has the greatest percent change for this year. And we can see the S&P 500 is behind it, and then you have this is the Russell. The Russell is now leading the Dow. I don't know, that don't seem right to me. I had to look at that, but for the most part, that's that indicator. I just wanted to show you as a visual aid. But looking at everything, I'm going to push over to where we are now. I did pay attention to somebody's comment about all my lines that I had on here, so I got rid of the lines. But I added my support and resistance indicator, and you can see the red and green boxes represent support and resistance. This purple and this cyan or this light blue color represents gaps. And you can see I had two pink lines that came out from here, this area right here, which will represent the gap that the S&P 500 was fighting against. And you can see the S&P 500 has climbed above that gap area that was right here, and it's broke out against the these areas of resistance as well. So if we push it all the way over, we really don't have any resistance into this next high right here for the year. And the S&P will be not a year, but it's all-time high. So, but we had a pullback today. We had a pullback today from this high, this week and this month high for December, and we can see with our ATR lines right here. So this would be ATR high, and these are the fibs that are between the ATR high and low, and the open. Let me resize this and get this back to where it belongs. So this is our the negative difference for the seasonality will be negative 1.96. But we can see the S&P 500 is completely just broke above that. This is our previous month's high, and this is our previous month's close. This purple line right here, and the white line is our current month's open, and this is our current month low. This is this dark green line right here will be our previous month's low. And this is the 50 and the 200. And this cyan line right here represents the 20. So the S&P 500 is above is 200 day, it's 50 day, and above it's 20 day, and it's just riding up. So most likely it's just riding its 10 day move average. But all of this is bullish. The 20 is above the 50, the 50 is above the 200. And the other thing that if you haven't watched my video on the Lagrange's I version 2, you can see right here you got your buy signal right here, or a bullish trigger that happened right here, and then from there you really don't have. I have it set on 21, so you really don't have any other sell signals in there except for this Heikin-Ashi, right? Heikin-Ashi, the turn red right there. But I had the Laguerre set on 21 days, but I'm pretty sure if I switched it back to its original length average, you'll probably get some. Nope, you didn't get any. So even with this on 13, you didn't get any sell signals for the S&P 500. You even got a bull trigger here, but you also got a bear trigger. They're telling you to get out. Then you got this bull trigger just pushing up also. So this is the S&P 500. I wanted to go through some of the other sectors as well. So this, you can see the 52-week high, the percent changes, so on and so forth, and you got this exhaustion. And that's exactly what happened here. You see these exhaustions right here. The stock is when I'm talking about exhaustion, you can see these dots right here, and they just represent exhaustion from the point of view of the Lagrange's I with gamma. So if I put this back to 20, you should see the same thing I'm talking about. These yellow dots represents exhaustion. You pay more attention to it when the gamma is actually pushing up, and that's what this is showing you right here. That's the only way these dots show up on the top, versus down here where they're going to show if gamma is below the 38.2. So let's make our rounds around the different sectors, and then we'll do some scanning. So let's start off with the XLK, the technology sector. Let me get rid of my drawing so we can have a clear picture. And this is the clear picture for the S&P. I mean the XLK, the technology ETF, and you can see it broke above this resistance level here, made a gap, and the positive gaps are going to be this baby blue color, this light blue color, and the negative gaps or gap downs will be this purple right here. And you can see how the technology sector is above its 20, actually came down with this exhaustion right here from this high, and then it hit the 20 and went back up. And you can see right here, here's our negative difference right here. And you can see where the 20 is, the 50, and the 200, and they're all riding above. And you did get a sell signal here, or a bear signal trigger right here on the Lagrange side, but I probably wouldn't have taken it. The only thing that really triggered down here within our stack with the Heikin-Ashi, the unbalanced range, and the TTM histogram is the Heikin-Ashi. Everything else stayed green. It kind of went dark green right here, but from there it only went back bright, giving you more confirmation to stay in the trade. Even though you got this bear signal from the Heikin-Ashi and from the RSI. One of the things about this indicator, it helps you stay in a trade. So, and even if you're wrong in taking a trade, you can count it as a small loss, but the goal is to create small wins and then to have even bigger wins as well. Same situation here. You would have taken, so that's the goal of the indicator. So I was looking for somewhere where you would have gotten out when you probably should have stayed in. So that's why I don't take every bear trigger. I pay attention to those triggers, but even with the bull triggers, I pay attention to them. I won't take every trade. I would have looked at this, and if these three were green, I would have taken a trade and just rolled it up. And this would have allowed you to stay in this trade all the way up. into here. I mean, you could have possibly gotten out here when it created this resistance and created a bear trigger, but it really allows you to stay in a trade. So here's our open, our high, and our previous. This is our previous month's high right here, and you can see how the XLK is just rising above. So the next one I wanted to go look at is XLV. Remember from our labels, this was supposed to be one of the ones that were up, that was up for the month, and we can see it's 0.02, and it's actually surpassed that, and it ran into this resistance up here. So let's zoom out a little bit and let's see where this resistance is coming from. So there's resistance and it's a gap right there. So we have resistance here and a gap, and we can see where it pulled back here. When it pulled into this area, pulled back here as well, pushed down, wasn't able to sustain these areas of support, came down to this support from previous level. So that support is from here and from this area right here where it came down to, and then it pushed above. So here are our fib levels in between our ATR high and low, and you can see from here it rode the previous days, previous months high and close and the open, and then it pushed above into this fib level here, and it traded within these two fibs right here. So our current month high and our 52-week high. So this is possibly getting ready to make a new 52-week high if it rebounds from this area and is able to break above this resistance level. It gave you a buy signal here on the Laguerre RSI. I probably wouldn't have taken it. I probably would have waited to here to take it, and I probably would have been wrong, and I would have sold out and possibly bought back in when I got this signal right here. So I'm going to, one moment. These clouds right here, they represent an inside month. It's this white cloud, and this purple cloud right here represents an inside week, and it just highlights the high and low. So that's XLV. Let's go look at the financials. XLL. So this is financials. You got a bull trigger here on the financials back here on November 1st. And this really just been rocketing up ever since that. From there. Let's see. So it broke through this resistance right here. Broke through this one. Broke through here. Broke through here. And it's headed towards this resistance here. I don't see many gaps in this either. The Fed decision, I think it was Wednesday, but for the most part, is really boosting the market and giving leeway. But usually with those decisions like that, it's not good for financials. But for the most part, it looks like it's going to be good. Usually when they raise interest rates, it's good for banks. And usually when they lower interest rates, it's bad for banks. But for the most part, we can look over this and we can see where everything is going good. Today was Friday, the triple witching, which means a lot of options expirations hit today. So there was pullback in the market on this day. So we can see here's our ATR high for last month. Here's our ATR low for this month. And here's our ATR high for this month at about 38.03. Let me zoom back out. But for the most part, we have a bullish sentiment on the for now with the RSI still being into overbought. And we can look from our stack down here. The Heikenaishi, everything turned dark green because it's set on the daily, but you can see right here it's still bullish in nature, even though you're hitting these areas of exhaustion, and that's what you're getting right here. You still see these exhaustion dots right here, and you can see right here you got these two exhaustion dots right here. So it's a pullback, but this day right here today is still a flat top, flat bottom. So if I change it back to Heikenaishi, You can see where this is just a drive up. You can see really with the Heikin candle is just a drive up from there, from this support area down here, and you can just see this is a flat bottom, and you can see all the bullish pressure right here, because each day these white arrows represents closes breaking above the highs with increased volume. So this is very bullish for the financials. And you can see right here, it was just range trading. Really between here, you could say a little further up, but just ranging for the most part, for the longest. So let me pull this down, and we're going to go to the next sector of the cyclical, so XLY. I don't see any marks. Yeah, I don't have anything on here. So you got that bullet signal from the RSI that hit here, and it's really just been pushing up. It looked like it passed right through this gap area. Here's your areas of resistance, and this is your past area. Previous month's high right here, this dark red line right there. Let me change the candles back and let me make sure, because I do this because I'm looking for gaps, and I wanted to see what type of candles are here. I probably chose the wrong one, candle trend, but for the most part, it gapped up and it's pushing above. The only reason why it's not showing the should be showing the gap blue line right there. I don't know why, but for the most part, you can see with this fib level right here, it's trading. It was trading inside the fib level and finally broke above that fib level. Hit this fib line right here, and it's getting ready to make a new 52-week high, or already did make a new 52-week high on cyclicals. And it's heading toward its average ATR high as well of 182.54. So cyclicals is pushing up all the sectors really, and it's pushing up from this area, from this strong pullback from this area right here to there. And you can see where it came to this support area. Not saying that every support area is going to hold, just like here it didn't hold. It broke through. Here it broke through as well. But you did get that bounce from the previous month's low. But it came into this area of support right here and pushed above. This area was able to hold. And then you got your bull trigger right here, and everything just really just flowed. So let's go into the next area, communications, XLC. Oops. It's trading way above its 200-day average. The 20 is broken back above the 50, and it's headed into this old resistance area. So you have resistance from here, and you have resistance right here where it broke down below or pulled back into this gap area right here. Then break down below the gap area, so that gap area is secured, and then it's pushing up. So we pull back, or so it's hitting this resistance way back here from March 31st, 22. So 2022. It's hitting that area right there and possibly getting into this gap area right here. So that's why I really like my support and resistance area, indicator right here. So that's my support and resistance indicator. It really finds those areas of support and resistance, and it holds those where you really don't have to go out there. But I would mark it out if I'm looking at it on the daily, just to know where I am and where resistance possibly would be. But that's the average difference over the 5 years. And let's try this. Let's push it over 10 years and see where it tells if we get anything different. If you really didn't get anything different, it actually possibly went lower. So for the month of December. So I'm gonna push it back to 5 years. And what was that? Negative 2.23%. So let's go over to our next sector. Is going to be the industrials XLI. And the industrials are already really, it came up to this ATR high right there. Or our ATR, let me see if I can fit that in. So this is our ATR high right here. So it's hitting that right there. And these are the fibs that's going through. Here's our open for the month and our previous close for the month. Hit those resistance areas and really just, once it broke through this one, it just smashed through all the rest of them. And it's not really pulling back as much as the other ones did for this day. And you can see where it gapped up as well. So it's making new, it already broken up, so it's making new 52-week highs, or all-time highs actually, if you were looking at this. So yeah, it's making all-time highs. So for the industrials, I know the big one for industrials, if I'm not mistaken, is this right here, the United States Steel. Let me get rid of all my drawings. So this thing really broke out on this gap up. I don't know what happened this day, but it's really just been going ever since then. So the next one we're going to go over to is Staples XLP. And the staples are lagging. They're lagging the other ones we just looked at. And we had a bullish signal here, but we had a bearish signal there. Inside week, inside week, inside week. Well, you can almost say inside week breakout, inside week breakout as well. It's running into its 200-day move average, and it actually pulled back from there. Here's our 20, here's our 50. So this is one of the sectors is trading below its 200-day move average. So it's not very bullish, but we're gonna keep a lookout, and you can say it's actually lagging the rest of the sectors at this point. So we're gonna keep a lookout for it, but it's not one of the areas where I would say I'll be scanning for any other plays or more plays in this area, or more stocks related to this sector. So the next one is going to be energy. Energy is another one that I would not be looking for plays in. But if energy decides to turn around, let me get those lines off of that. Are they relevant? This would be relevant, but I'm just going to remove it anyway. Oops. Ran into resistance up here on the September. In September, ran into this resistance area, created another resistance. So where's that resistance coming from that it ran into from September? It's coming from over here. Where's the date at? So November 14th, 22. So it tried here, got pushed right back down. Bust up into that same area, pushed right back down. And you can see where it made this gap right here, and it's actually fighting with this gap right here and this new resistance area that was created on December 1st. So here's our previous low, this green line, and here's our previous month's high. It's this red line right here. So it really needs to get back above its month's open and its previous month's close, but it needs to overcome this gap area. You can see once this gap was made how all you got these wicks and candles going into this area, but none of them has been successful to fill the gap and break above and really start a run in energy. And energy hit its average difference right on the money. So energy was expected for the month of December to go down to this area of $81.33. It hit, Powell came on, and then it pushed above, but I don't expect this to hold. So you also got a bullish trigger as well. So keep a lookout on that one. It's also trading below. It's trading below its 200 day, and it actually ran into the 200 day, and it's 50 days right here, and it's 20 days. This cyan line right here. So energy is not something I'll be looking at. From there, we come into the utilities, and utilities is a defensive sector, and our defensive sector. So XLU, and you can see where it really skyrocketed as well. Came down into this area of support. Where is that support coming from? So these support areas are coming way from 520. So 2020. So it actually went back to some of its 2020 lows. Found support, and it's really rocking them up. But it started out here, gap down, and ran into where it tried to break above, and it did break above its 200 day, but it's back below its 200 day, and it's getting ready to run into its 20 day, but the 20 day is above the 50, and we can look at our ATR fibs right here as well. So hit this ATR fib level right here, pull back to this one, and we may get a push above, and it broke above this resistance back here as well. So it could be a minor pullback, and you got a bearish signal on the RSI. So that'll be something to look at, but it's still above its previous month's high. So we're going to go to materials, XLB. And it's running into this resistance level right here, and it's a gap right there as well, or the bottom of that gap. So here are those levels right there. That gap is actually coming way from here. So this is our material sector, and it's trading above its 200 day. It's 20 is above its 200 day, and it's 50, but its 50 is still below the 200 day. It came down and touched its average dip, this negative 1.61%. It was down, and then it's pushing above it now. So I can't remember if this one was part of offensive defense, but it's almost a V. So it really pushed up from there. But that is material. So let's go look at real estate, XLRE. And you remember from the beginning of the video, XLRE was exceeding a lot of the other sectors for this quarter. So XLRE broke above this resistance area right here, so it's getting ready to run into this resistance in that area right here in its 40s, and possibly make a new 52-week high if we can get above there. And we can look at its week change, a month change, quarter change, year change. But for the most part, this is really running up. I know one of the stocks that it actually already hit its ATR high. Pulled back to it, gapped up over here. I guess the gap will show up in a moment. Anyway, gapped up, came back to its ATR high support, and it's probably gonna push above and keep going. But they still, I hear a lot of people still calling for a recession in the real estate area. But we'll see if they're going to be right or wrong. But one of the ones I've been looking at, and I wish I could have got, really played this one just for the dividend that's on this real estate right here, stock. So you can see where it pulled all the way back, and you got that buy signal here. You got a sell signal, but I probably would have waited to the next day to get in or out of it, especially on this signal right here, because it really don't have any more increase in volume, and you can see it's still dark green, even though you had those two turn red and one turn pink, the unbalanced volume and the high Kanashi. So I probably would have stayed in this trade, and it hit the 20 and gapped up from there, and it's still trading below its 200-day. Well, actually, the close above its 200-day. So that's actually quite bullish for this stock right here. So the next one is that all of them, or did I miss something? Let's go to some of our major indices. That's EQ. This is the NASDAQ. And that's that all I have on here is that field. So let's get rid of the drawings for a moment. And you can see the NASDAQ is breaking above. And is it having new 52? So yeah, it's getting ready to make, or it's already making new 52-week highs for the NASDAQ. You can see where it rode this support area, broke down below, and then you had this huge push up from here. So NASDAQ over the average for the last 5 years should have been down 1.85% for the month of December, but it's actually pushing above. So our open is just pretty much the same as our previous close. Here's November's month's high, and you can see where it's just pushing above and pushing to this resistance area. Found some resistance, but it's having a hard time continuing to streak up and break above. So the NASDAQ, that's the NASDAQ. It's heavily tech led. YM is the Dow futures. I just like looking at the futures just because there's usually no gaps in those areas, and they're trading pretty much 24 hours. So let's get all those lines off of that and look at it like this. So we making new, yep, new 52-week highs and new all-time high for the Dow futures anyway. And we can see where you got this buy signal right here, or this bull trigger right here, and just been running up. And that's what I talk about, taking these. You can have these huge wins, small wins, and small losses, and that's how you're really going to grow your account with the Laguerre RSI. You may or may not would have taken it here, but you definitely would have gotten out here, and you still would have made money. But you can have these huge runs with the Laguerre RSI and combine it with those other studies that are down there. And this is what it looks like from the standpoint of Heikin-Nashi. And let's go look at the XRTY. And this will be the Russell 2000 index futures. So let me get rid of the drawings. And you had a bull trigger here, and then you had a bear run here. So you may not have wanted to wait for that, especially with these pink candles right here, or salmon color candles right here. So it was expected to be down for the month of December, but it's actually up, and it broke above our ATR high right here, and these field levels and its previous month's high. And I know for a fact that it's not making new 52-week high nor all-time highs. It may be making new 52-week highs. So it's breaking out, coming back into this area of resistance from here. You can see these three bands right there represent resistance, and it could break above those. It's trading above its 20, trading above its 200 and its 50, but the 50 is still below the 200. So it's going to be interesting, and we're going to be looking out for this thing to continue going up and really playing a lot of small cap stocks. So let's get rid of the ATR, and let's look at some stocks that we have signals on with the Ligure RSI. So let's pull this one down. Come on. And let's look at these. We got signals on the Ligure RSI today. So let's push it over, and I need to change the Ligure RSI to the 13th. So our signals really line up together. And there's our trigger from the top part as well. ICCT. ICCT. ICCT had a good dog. It jumped up after market. Had a good day, and then aftermarket just started to skyrocket. So I really don't want. I should have put in a different parameter. I didn't get any stocks, really penny stocks. Nat. So these are some of the stocks that you possibly want to look at for a continuation. Nordic American Tankers. I think that's energy. Fro. Frontline, PCL, PLC. And you can see it hit that gap area down there. And it's pushing back above, but it's a gap right there as well. So this might be a real gappy stock. No, it's not a real bad gappy stock. But JD.com. It got the way up, and it's pushing. Nope. Yeah, 64 million. Suburban Propane Partners Inc. LP. It looks good, but it's gonna have to fight above this gap area. So I'm gonna put an alert for it possibly breaking above there. Alright, so it had a bull signal back here, but it wasn't able to sustain it. So I'm gonna look for. It's at 715. So let's look for 750 to keep a watch on this one. USA Compression Partnership LP. It's breaking out. It's above its 200 day. So you really want to wait for it to be possibly. I don't know. I've noticed with stocks hitting these whole numbers, like 25 here, could be a pullback, or the run might not hold. So taking a chance on that one. It's only up 1.82%. UNG, United States Natural Gas. It's not doing good. Boyle is another gas stock. And SANA. I don't know. I don't like the ones that are not up. But they got signals, so it could be a possible turnaround for any of these, for some of these anyway. Southwest Energy Company. So these stocks over here have been the ones that have bullet signals on the Ligure RSI. Whoa. I must have looked at this a long time ago. It's another energy company. And this seemed like a small pullback, and it could push back above, if nothing else, back into that high area. It's not that expensive. It's only $13, $14. I did say energy is one of the areas where I wasn't gonna be looking for anything in. But this one's interesting. No new hydrogen project. I don't know what RRC is. Range resources. It's coming up from its bottom. I would look for more so something from this gap area. So if this, I don't know, where's $30? It's down here. So I would look for something breaking above there. So create an alert. We'll wait. VYX. It took a huge nosedive. You can see this huge gap area right here. What day is this? So sometime in October. So can we see October news? There it goes. Joins the small caps. Earnings. Earnings right here. So it's a huge pullback. PARR. PYO. Oops. So nah, it had a signal, but it's going straight down. So let's get rid of that watch list. Here's our stack. And there we go. Let me bring this one down. These are all good stocks. They don't necessarily have the signals for the RSI, but for the most part, all of these are going to be bright green. Dang. Just straight up. This one is a pharmaceutical company too. And it's breaking into this gap area. So possibly broke above this resistance right here. And here it's in the gap area. Let me see what the true candle looks like. And it's this huge body right here. And that looks great. I would say this looks great. So I'm going to look for a signal above where it's current day high. This one had a huge move right here. So these are all the stocks that I would look for because they're all green on the stack with the Laguerre's eye. So I'm just going to go through a few of these just so we can look at them. But for the most part, this is going to be the end of the video. And these are some of the stocks you probably want to look at for a continuation to Monday. But I appreciate you guys. I wish you the best. I hope this video was helpful and educational. Don't take this for any suggestion to buy or sell any stock or instrument or anything. But I wish you all the best and God bless. Have a good night and a great weekend.